Building things is in my blood, it's what I do, and there's no greater satisfaction than creating something for someone you care about. My younger brother Alex was heading off to start his engineering degree, a huge milestone, and I wanted to give him the perfect tool to succeed. For months, I'd been secretly buying the best components I could afford, a graphics card that cost more than my first car, a processor that could probably calculate the meaning of life, a sleek silent case to house it all in. I spent 2 full weekends assembling it, routing every cable perfectly, my workshop smelling of solder and new electronics. It was more than a computer, it was a statement, a piece of my heart I was sending with him. I packed it with military precision, triple-boxed it, and sent it off with a trusted courier service, imagining the look on his face when this monolith of technology arrived at his dorm. That vision was the only thing on my mind. The online tracker blinked to life a few days later, a single beautiful word delivered. But when I called Alex, buzzing with excitement, his voice was quiet and confused. There was no package. Not on the doorstep, not with the building manager, not anywhere. The word delivered was a lie, a digital ghost of a gift that had simply vanished into thin air. The pride I felt curdled into a cold, heavy dread in the pit of my stomach. After a soul-crushing call with the courier's emotionless customer service, I found myself sitting in a beige police station, the air thick with the smell of old paper and cheap coffee, filing a report for a stolen dream. The officer was kind, but his eyes held a familiar weariness. He'd seen this 100 times before. The rage didn't come right away, it was a slow burn, a quiet promise I made to myself that whoever did this, whoever stole that piece of my heart and that opportunity from my brother, was going to regret it. The weeks that followed were a masterclass in frustration. I bought Alex a cheap, temporary laptop to get him through his first semester. But every time he called to talk about a project that was lagging or a program that kept crashing, that slow-burning anger flared a little brighter. The detective on the case, a guy named Miller, would call occasionally with non-updates. "We're looking into it," he'd say in his gravelly voice. "These things take time." Time was a luxury we didn't have. I had saved every serial number from every single component, a long list of digital fingerprints, and I sent it all to him. I started scouring online marketplaces myself, a nightly ritual of searching for my stolen parts, feeling like a ghost haunting the digital world. The seasons began to change, the crisp autumn air giving way to the first chills of winter, and hope had started to fade into a dull ache of resignation. Then one evening I got a call. It was Miller. He sounded different, an edge of excitement in his voice. "Got a hit," he said. "Your graphics card, someone's trying to sell it on a forum for custom builds." A jolt went through me, pure adrenaline. He told me they had a plan. An undercover officer was going to pose as a buyer and arrange a meet. "We're going to get him, Leo," Miller promised. "Just trust the process." The climax of this whole affair happened not in a flash of confrontation, but in a quiet parking lot behind a suburban electronics store. I wasn't there, Miller insisted I stay away, but he painted the picture for me later over the phone. His undercover guy, looking every bit the part of an eager tech enthusiast, met the seller. The seller pulled the graphics card out of an anti-static bag, the same one I had meticulously packaged. It was him. From the description, it was the same delivery driver whose face I'd seen for a fleeting moment on my own security camera footage the day the package went missing. The moment the cash was about to be exchanged, 2 unmarked cars boxed him in. Miller said the look on the guy's face was a perfect mix of shock and pathetic surrender. He didn't just have my graphics card, his car was full of other people's stolen goods, a treasure trove of violated trust. The driver folded faster than a cheap suit, and that's when the real story began to unfold. My single stolen computer wasn't a random act of porch piracy, it was the loose thread that unraveled a massive criminal conspiracy. The driver was just a foot soldier. The real mastermind was a shift manager at the courier's central distribution hub. This manager had developed a sophisticated system, using inside knowledge to identify high-value packages, flag them as delivered in the system, and have his network of drivers divert them to a storage locker. They'd been doing it for over a year, stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise, from electronics to jewelry to life-saving medication. My detailed list of serial numbers was the hard evidence the police needed to connect the dots, to get the warrants to raid the storage locker, and to bring the whole rotten enterprise crashing down. My little revenge story had become front-page news. It took another few months for the legal mess to be sorted out, but eventually, the police recovered most of my original components from the evidence locker. They were a little scuffed, but they were mine. I didn't just mail them this time. I drove all 8 hours to my brother's college, the rebuilt computer sitting belted into my passenger seat like a VIP. When I set it up on his desk and watched it boot up for the first time, its internal lights casting a blue glow on his astonished face, the feeling was 1,000 times better than what I had imagined all those months ago. As I was leaving, Alex stopped me. "You know," he said, "I never told you this because I didn't want you to worry, but I saw the delivery truck that day. It pulled up, the driver got out, looked at our door, looked at the box in his truck, and then just got back in and drove off. I thought maybe he just got the address wrong." And in that moment, I smiled. The thief hadn't just gotten caught because of my diligence, he had been seen. His crime wasn't as invisible as he thought, and knowing my brother had seen the very first flicker of his deceit made the final victory feel complete.